It's a revolution, style revolution, cultural revolution.
When we come out here, we have a fight.
Evolution does not occur in one stage. It's an evolutionary process. Like people go through different things.
The real content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and the goals that you're striving for.
That you are here. And to be here means that you can't be here by chance.
We have to become involved in a program of re-education to educate our people into the importance of knowing.
It's a revolution, style revolution, cultural revolution.
Yo, what up?
Yo, what's up?
You tuned into the Peaceful Rage podcast
Featuring Matt Murphy and Dr. Wes Bellamy. Two brothers,
working in our community,
active, caring for our families.
still trying to get back,
We see what's going on with the big picture.
and we pissed off about it.
Peaceful Rage Podcast.
Peaceful Rage podcast. So I know, there's a lot of people who oftentimes we're in this era, feels like, in which people are like, yo, man, such and such hating on me. You hating on me. But how do you differentiate hate between constructive criticism? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
So what about you? Like, how do you take that? How do you differentiate the two?
Well, let's I always say to try to define terms in some way, just so we can have a reasonable
He's a smart-ass
conversation,
dude.
right? Well, no, I'm just saying. So like hate, right, would be actively, whether in your attitude or emotion or conduct, trying to cause pain or loss or trauma or keeping somebody from something. Like if you hating on somebody, like acting like, man, Wes ain't shit, he ain't about shit, he ain't gonna do shit, like
Right.
that. To me, that's one thing versus saying like, hey Wes, that thing that you did, 5 of those things were great, but there's this one thing I think you could have done differently.
Right.
And here's how I think that would help you. That's constructive criticism. Or you presenting something and me saying, no, I don't really like that, but here's another idea. Or that can be constructive criticism. Or it could just be my opinion. That's not hate. I'm not trying to take from what you're doing. I'm just expressing how I think or feel about something.
I think the tone in which people say things oftentimes leads people to believe that one may be hate opposed to criticism. So if you say something to me constructively, or if you're offering me constructive feedback, but your tone is one that just sounds like you just shitting on me, because we live in such a society in which people are a lot more sensitive, or as we talked about in the last episode, they're not as emotionally developed, they can't handle it, and they conceive or they perceive what an individual is about to say or saying to them as hate, opposed to actually being criticism, constructive criticism. And you could just be giving me some game, you just saying it harsh. Right. But because we live in a participation trophy era, you say some hard or some harsh shit to me, but it's real, I feel like you hating.
Yeah, what's that sensitivity about, man? I mean, because you played sports, right?
Yeah, whole life.
Did you have a coach? You ran the drill, you missed the tackle, coach come up beside you and just kind of gently whisper in your ear, hey, Wes, you know what? You did a really good, you tried really hard, buddy. I just want you to just try a little bit harder, man. Or he said, you get your ass up and do it again.
Bruh,
Right?
I had both.
Okay.
I will say I had a coach, right, in high school. Yo, everybody high school back in Atlanta, right? Cats who be listening to this, they know a little bit about this, right? So I was the quarterback. I was the quarterback on my high school football team since 9th grade, right? Varsity since 9th grade. And we got a coach my junior year who played for Bear Bryant at the University of Alabama, Coach Pugh. He was notoriously known for winning. Right? Yo, he was a winner. He was a cat who he knew football in and out. He could get us into school. Yo, he was a winner. My sophomore year, I started balling. I did pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Getting recruited pretty heavy. Invited to all these camps, making, all county teams or whatever. So I'm thinking I'm nice. Yo, he came in my junior year, dog, and called me a railbird every day. You know what a railbird is? You ever heard of a railbird?
I don't think so.
He used to be like, yo, Wes, or Wesley, you a railbird. What the hell is a railbird? A bird without a brain. You are the worst quarterback I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
My son, Joshua Chase Pugh, I'll never forget this motherfucker saying this shit. My son, Joshua Chase Pugh, he's 12 years old. Better quarterback than you. He's a better athlete than all y'all in your whole team. He would say shit like that all the time, bro.
Right.
Consistently just talk shit. But what he was doing was pushing us to literally get the best out of us that he could, but also he forced us to think critically.
Was he a hater?
He wasn't a hater,
Right.
in my opinion.
Because you know what the hater would have done? You've been off the team.
You done.
Right. But go ahead.
You done. He really is one of the first people who taught me playing quarterback and being a leader in general, right? Fuck football is one in which you have to think critically. And you have to be a step ahead of everyone else. Now, my coach before him, white dude, Coach Aldridge, love Coach Aldridge to death. People thought like he was like my dad, right? Like he got me my first job. Coach A was my guy. 6'6", 240 pounds, super Christian, never cursed, right? Never.
Mm-hmm.
He was one that was very supportive, loving. His tone was very different. Always one of encouragement. If he got mad with me, it meant like I did something super, super crazy, right? So two different approaches. But the one who made me a better man was Coach Pugh, the one who called me a real bird. Coach R just gave me the confidence to be able to know I'm good, I'm a leader. These are the things you got to do. But Coach Pugh taught me, so you better be on your shit.
So same team.
Yep.
Same sport.
Yep.
Same position.
Yep.
Two different coaches.
Yep.
Two different styles. Right? Did both of those coaches make you run drills over if you didn't do them right?
Yes.
All right. So part of what I'm hearing is stylistically we have our preferences on how we like to hear truth.
Yep.
Big
facts.
So it's like you don't want to hear it the way you hearing it. Mm-mm. And sometimes, and you ever watch movies, right? And you, of course, right?
Yeah.
You guys listening have all watched movies where it's an all white cast and the one black character is like a wise old black man or a wise old black woman, right? And they're the ones that, honey, you got to do this, that, and the other. They're just spitting that true shit to them white folks and like, oh my gosh, that's so real.
An epiphany.
Right. That happens all the time. It's the way that we hear it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what people need to get over. You need to be able to get over the fact that you may not hear the way you want to hear is what's being said true.
Do you think that often,
it's not always right?
Right.
I mean, you don't talk to kids all kinds of crazy. You tell them the truth. You know what I mean? Like, no, you ain't getting no ice cream. It's too, like, you ain't got to scream on them and stuff like that. But sometimes we just got to get over the way stuff comes to us.
Do you think the people who can handle at an early age tougher talk, does that differentiate those who are successful from those who are unsuccessful?
I think so.
How so?
Develop a thick skin. Develop the reality of when you get out into this world, there's going to be all kinds of people that's going to say things all kinds of ways. And you got to figure out how you're going to, I mean, I know people from around the world and, you do as well. And there's even certain languages when people talk, you know what I mean? It may sound as though that they're angry. You know what I mean? Like the way that they say in the words, but they're not angry.
Yeah.
But you're not accustomed to hearing it in that way. And so again, like a lot of times I feel like we don't hear things the way we want to hear them. It hasn't been packaged up because we like everything customized and tailored to my likes and my suiting. I mean, whether it's my clothes, my house, my chair, everything's tailor made for me, right?
Yeah.
It's America. That's what we love. Customization. Customize my truth. Package my truth in a way that I want to hear it. And if you don't, then you a hater and I don't like the shit that you talking about and it must not be right.
So I got a curveball for you.
Come on.
Does that apply to us in our relationships with our spouses?
I think it could be.
So if my spouse doesn't say something to me in a loving, kind way that encourages me or customizes it the way in which I want to hear it, does that mean that spouse doesn't love me because they're not speaking to my love language?
That's tough. I think
now we're dealing with the emotion.
Well, I think that if the general theme is that of them speaking in the way that you generally, you've expressed, hey, this is what I need. This is how I hope that we were able to engage each other. That's one thing. And if out of the blue or out of the regular, your spouse engages you in a way that's like not the way you want to hear, might be some true shit, but it's just coming at you sideways. I think it's just human relationships. But if it's every single time they got to tell you some truth, it's in some harsh way. Like, I don't know. I would have a problem with that. There's also a way to tell the truth without, breaking somebody down. But I think what we're talking about is the difference between me telling you the truth and you saying I'm hating on you versus me telling you the truth and it's in support of what you got going on.
Is it possible for you to be in love with a hater?
Sure.
So for your spouse to be a hater?
Like hating on you.
Hating on you.
Sure. Yeah,
Jealous,
absolutely. Oh,
whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it.
So how do brothers deal with that?
That's tough, man. I mean, it depends on what it's about. One, I would say, if it's, so having been in the church, right? I have seen women whose husbands were pastors, right? But it was the women who idolized the ministry. They loved the prestige of being the first lady, of being the pastor's wife. And when and if something changes with that man, then he has a problem. He has a problem with his wife because he's no longer in that role.
Yeah.
He's no longer the man, and she's no longer the woman next to the man, the woman supporting the man.
Right.
She's no longer that, and so she feels the part of her identity has been taken away, right? And so I've seen brothers get set up and fall down behind their wives pushing them because the wives wanted their husbands to be in ministry more than the man himself wanted it. And I think that happens in other areas and spaces in life, not just between women and men, but men to women as well. You know what I mean? We do push each other in certain ways too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it could be for the good or for the bad. But yeah, you can be married to a hater. You can be married to somebody that supports you, and you throw that shit away. And you and then you go get somebody that you thought was better, and they don't even know how to support you, much less try to.
Yo, what up? You tune into the Peaceful Rage podcast featuring me, Dr. Wes Bellamy, and my man Matt Murphy. So I think I agree with you, right? That's deep. And first, you just dropped some jewels. Give him a couple bombs here, right? but in that same token, right? I think brothers in our fragility, right, or even sometimes in our false sense of this braggadocious shit that we have, or bravado, right? We are very sensitive beings, and I think it's okay when you're hearing it from the world, right? You're hearing criticism from the world, but when you're at home, you want it customized. And if it's not customized for you because your spouse may be giving you some real shit, right? Does that mean that they don't rock with you? Or is it they're just trying to improve you? Navigating that and having that conversation is something that I don't think we do enough as black men.
A lot of times brothers don't want to hear their woman pushing them. You know what I mean?
Why not?
I mean, I don't know about the why. I mean, everybody's different, but a lot of times, if your lady come in and she, she's encouraging you to think or do something a little bit differently, because we can get stuck too.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Our pride can get in the way, and all of a sudden we act like, she's against us.
Right.
When she's trying to actually propel us forward. Maybe she's not doing it right. Maybe she's doing it perfectly, and you need to man up, quit being a little baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Your situation, everything's different, but we don't like that a lot of times, dog.
A lot of brothers do not like being pushed by their woman. And I think that's not only some toxic shit, but it's just being fragile. And it's some patriarchal shit, right? Like, we think that because I'm a man, you should do what I say. That's the natural, in brothers' opinion, the natural pecking order, per se, for lack of a better term. And I think that because we don't always understand that the woman could just be pushing you to be a better person, we act out. We can't handle it. We cheat. We go find someone who will say something in a kinder way. We pit ourselves against our women. We do a lot of destructive things opposed to just taking the constructive criticism, opposed to looking at it as hate or throwing away a relationship in which someone who's just trying to push you to get better.
Right now, and let me just kind of also differentiate between, like, let's just say you a musician and you put your stuff out there and somebody says your shit is whack, right?
This shit is trash.
That's their opinion, right? They don't have to listen to you anymore. They're not going to have to buy anything from you.
In the
meanwhile, if your spouse come to you, you know what I'm saying, your old lady come to you and like, what you been doing? That shit was trash, right? You know what I mean? Now, she's not leaving.
That shit gonna hurt on a different level,
it's
though,
gonna
bro.
hurt on a different. No, it is. No,
Yeah.
I agree. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, the relationship's different. A hater not buying your records, one thing. Your woman not leaving you, just telling you to tighten up a little bit, that's a whole nother thing. Now, I'm not saying we got to be in relationships where it's this constant criticism and nagging and bullshit, because that's a real thing too.
Yeah.
But I think that tension of pushing off or pushing one another to do better and to be better, I think that's a good thing. I know, man, I got some friends, man. You know, he's wrestled with his weight. It's up and down. Then his wife started getting big. Then this nigga big, and he's sitting there talking about, man, she over here big, man, but he don't want to do nothing. I'm just like, well, you know what? Dog,
Get your big ass right, and
you
then
got to
she'll get right.
lead. We got to run, man. You know what I
Right.
mean? So there's that's that positive pushing. We can push each other negatively, like, oh, let's just watch another show. Let's just eat another pint of ice cream together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just go do some other shit
Let's
that's
get
not
another
helpful.
slice of pizza.
Right, whether it's on that level or
Box.
let's just trick this money off and buy, you get a pair of shoes and I get a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Let's get one more TV. Oh, the kids just need one more Power Wheels. Like, just we push each other in negative ways too. You know what I mean? To do trick shit, to do, you know, ignorant things, to do whatever. So find somebody that's going to encourage you to grow. It doesn't even have to be conversationally. It could just be the way that they live and conduct themselves encourages you. Like, damn, I got to be tight. If I'm going to be with this person,
Yeah.
I got to be tight.
So to that point, do you know your love language?
Like the 5 love languages, like
Yeah.
the books.
Yeah.
I read that thing years ago, man. I don't remember, man.
I know mine is like words of affirmation, right? And like support and shit like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I appreciate when my wife has affirming words for me. I appreciate when she compliments or says or does certain things, right? That speaks to my love language. Now, that's not hers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to find the balance. And I think for a lot of brothers, we have to internally deal with that. It's possible for us to deal with our spouses or people who we're in love or who we're in relations with that can be just very different from us. But also taking away the spouse piece when you're dealing in the world with a lot of different people. That because someone also may be different from you, it doesn't mean that they are hating you. They could just see things from a different angle. And that brings us back to, circling back to constructive criticism versus hate. Because as we just alluded to, like, yo, a dude got something up on SoundCloud or whatever, or he's doing a podcast.
Right.
And the people in the community or whoever listening, like, yo, this shit is whack. That's one thing. But, yo, your spouse be like, yo, this shit is trash. Like, bro, that should have crushed you. right? But both of them could just articulate differently. They both could just emote differently. They could see things differently. The way in which they critically analyze what you're doing could be different, right? So we got to be able to take the meat of the criticism and be able to throw away the fat. But I will say, I'm not going to continue to take criticism from someone over and over without getting some kind of positivity out of it.
Agreed.
Like, you can give me, you know what I'm saying, a constructive criticism.
Right.
But don't let it always be criticism. Damn, am I not doing anything right?
Well, that's the thing. And again, I go back to what I was saying a few moments ago. We shouldn't necessarily expose ourselves to this active kind of toxic, you know, critical nagging kind of, you know, vibe that some people have find themselves, because that's also a pattern. You know, that's a pattern that people can get into.
Yeah.
You know, one, doing it. Secondly, allowing it. You know, and third, just like living with it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and I'll say this, like, how would I put it? Someone not appreciating what you do publicly or professionally is very different than somebody not appreciating what you do privately. Like, it's the people closest to you that can hurt you most, right?
Yeah.
So people out in the street saying, hey, this is trash, right? I wouldn't even necessarily call that hate. Hate's when they are actively trying to stop you from doing the thing.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Saying it's trash, that's just an opinion. Am I making sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, but I will only push back and say that, bro, you hear that shit enough. That's why we have so many people with these, like, committing suicide or who are depressed. Because, I mean, you take social media, for example, yo, people say some of the meanest, hurtful things they could say to you on a day-to-day basis. And some people internalize that shit, right? Mm-hmm. And it could just be their opinion, like, yo, you stupid, you whack, whatever, you a race baiter or whatever. But, dog, after so long, you continuously hear that shit, you internalize it, and it makes you feel down.
Yes.
Does that mean that you don't have thick skin? Or does that mean that, yo, that shit, the weight just weighs on you, bro? I've been there.
Yeah, I don't.
And I think we both. I mean,
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know what that feels like to be in that space, and so I don't want to discount what that feels like. And at the same time, I will reiterate what I said before. I wouldn't expect somebody to be in a relationship where that's what they hear. In a chosen relationship, you might be a child and your mama is a bitch and you can't leave yet because you only 13. I'm just on some real shit, right?
Yeah, we've been there, yeah.
But in the meanwhile, you just keep choosing up. You 32, you keep choosing up on these foul, you know what I'm saying, dysfunctional women, and all of a sudden you don't know you don't understand what the problem is.
It's you.
Think about it for a second, right? And I would say, bro, you've been with this girl 6 years, and all she do is talk shit every time I see you. She talking down about what you're doing. You can't do nothing right. You still there. Well, if you on social media and they busting you up like that, why do you stay there? Why do you stay in that relationship? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not victim blaming. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying we also choose oftentimes what we expose ourselves to, and I don't want us to take away from the responsibility that we have on ourselves. People gonna do and say all kinds of foul things, and whether you stand up for yourself, know your love language, or you don't, whatever the case is, like get to the place where you are stable enough to say, you know what, I'm better than this. I don't need this.
But bro, that's a learned behavior. To be able to say I'm better than this, I'm strong enough to deal with this. Some people like to just wallow in their sorrows, right? Some people just love to be in shit, right? And when I say shit, like be in negativity. They like to exist in negativity. They thrive off of the negative comments, or they feel like that's a sense of attention. Or for some people, they don't know how to get out, right? Like there's a lot of people addicted to social media.
Right.
Like you addicted to it. And I feel like, wow, yeah, you can just unplug. My wife and I did this thing where we did a 1 week social media fast a couple weeks ago, in which we just didn't get on any social media sites. Like we just turned it off for 7 days, right? And I was talking to my friends about it, and it was like, yo, bro, I never would have did that shit. Like I never would have did that. And it's like, yo, some of us are addicted to the attention or just scrolling, or we've been programmed to view that shit. So imagine if you've just been programmed, or your work is involved with you being on social media, and you're consistently berated. Like it's some motherfuckers every time I post shit, dog, they calling me nigger, or they saying some dumb shit. Now, granted, I don't really pay no mind, like, all right, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't respond. I just got to a point where I don't respond to a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that there wasn't a point in time where I was like, damn, is this how people really see me? You know what I'm saying? And you start to internalize it because you haven't developed the emotional tools yet to deal with it. And I think there are a lot of brothers who are like that. And we cope with the issues that we have, or the negative things that people say to us or push on us in very destructive ways, because we don't have the tools to deal with the negativity that comes with being a black man in the spotlight, being a black man trying to take care of your family, or just you trying to survive in the belly of the beast.
Yo, what's up? You're listening to the Peaceful Rage podcast featuring me, Matt Murphy, and Dr. Wes Bellamy. Nah, I'm just listening, man, because you schooling me, bro. I mean, I've never been in that spot where, you know what I mean, like people coming at me the way they coming at you. But two, you know, I also lived most of my life without social media.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the way I just approach, you know, just the way I approach my engagement with that, and then people in general, I think is going to be different. And so I think that would be my caution. You know, if somebody's bugging like, all right, how could I not do social media for a week or a month or a year, whatever the hell it is, man. Keep in mind, I think one of the comedians said, he's like, man, you seen J. Cole and Kendrick when them niggas came back and their beards was looking crazy and their hair wasn't combed, like the record was gonna be fire. Right. I remember what's his name, the white dude, Ed Sheeran. Yeah. He got rid of his cell phone for a year, went overseas, and like the album that he recorded that year when he did not have his phone was the top selling album that he ever made ever in his life. Like, and so, hey, who cares? Get off that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they talking shit, get off of it. I'm not saying that they right. I'm not saying that you punking out. But damn, like, there's so much more to being a human than just that. So if that's impacting your humanity, like, leave that shit alone, dog.
But why do I have to leave it alone if someone is trying to negatively impact what I enjoy doing for my break or entertainment or whatever, right? Because, like, I like being on social media. I'm not going to front. I got a message today. Motherfucker sends to me, keep talking all that shit about lynching and you're going to turn me on, boy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Motherfuckers in my
You want to shout him out so everybody control him? No,
oh yeah, man. Let's shout this clown out.
Troll his ass.
His name is Hugo Wilhelm Dudley. HUGO WILHELM Dudley DUDLEY.
There you go.
Right? But then there's cats who say shit to me like y'all just go look at my Twitter mentions.
Right.
It's people who say shit to me all the time about like, yo, you race baiting nigger or you dumb nigger.
Okay, so let's
but I mean I'm not gonna allow them to dictate my experience and how I may interact with my friends or what I like to do to relax.
Yes. And I think you're also speaking from like a public figure perspective, if you would. Like you also recognize in your role, you know, as an elected official, you will have to make decisions that people are not happy with, and they're going to express their displeasure in your decision.
No
right?
doubt.
That's part of your job. But let's just say, you know what I mean, it's the average dude that's just trying to get by.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He just bought him a car that was new to him. You know what I mean? Like he trying to do his thing, and people are you know, coming down some
crazy
kind
shit.
of way. Right. Like, how does he process that? You know what I mean?
Does
like,
he have the tools?
Does he have the tools? You know, how long do you stay in that environment? Right? How long do you continue to expose yourself to that
kind of negativity?
Right. That's why cats say they move out the hood sometimes. I'm doing well, all of a sudden now I gotta hear shit from everybody. They, you know what I mean? They're knocking on my door, and it's 11 o'clock at night, and I'm trying to get in bed because I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but they mad, and I ain't about shit because I wouldn't answer the door and give them $5. Like, that shit has happened to me living in the hood. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, don't come ask me for a square and I can help you get a job, but get you a job and get your own, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. That's
I'm working,
real, right?
dog. I'm working every day.
That's real. So, I mean, even as we bring it the conversation back to...
And I'm not hating. That's constructive. Like, get a job. But go ahead.
I was just going to say that, right? So bring it back to hate versus constructive criticism. Developing your lens to be able to decipher the two is important, right? So if we gave folks takeaways, right, be able to decipher whether or not somebody's actually hating on you or they're giving you constructive criticism. And if you feel like somebody's just consistently hating on you, don't fuck with them or don't fuck with that environment. Remove yourself out of that environment. Right.
I mean, hate wants to hold you back. Just think about H's. Hate
can't hold me back.
Hate wants to hold you back, right? But criticism can be constructive. Yeah. You know what I mean? They want to see you want to grow and multiply and make moves, you know. So nobody becomes a master of anything without overcoming something. If everything was easy to have, everybody would have it.
Now that's the real shit, right? So in your process or your journey to being successful, you're going to have to deal with some kind of adversity, and it may very well be in the form of hate. But someone is also going to give you some constructive criticism. And are you able to extrapolate the constructive criticism and apply it to what you're trying to do to accomplish your goal?
Right. Or
are you just going to wallow in the hate? That's what I think separates those who are successful from those who are just stuck in the mud.
Yeah. Well, and that's why everything I appreciate about our conversations we talked about before we started recording this episode was you and I differ on opinions, but we also recognize and respect where we have both came from and the circles that we have run in, and then that allows us to come here and have a place where we can break bread and be like, I never thought about it from that angle before. You know what I'm saying? You'll say something like you said some shit tonight. I'm like, I never lived it. I never thought that. Like, I need to chew on that a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But that's because we mutually respect each other.
Right.
So do we offer this same level of respect to everyone else who we encounter?
I would hope. But I would just say, like, you and I don't always agree. Yeah. But I would never call you a hater.
Oh, right. I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, Murphy, he think that dumb shit. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, Wes hating on me. I'm like, no, we just ain't on the same page as far as that thing goes. Yeah. I don't have no problem with that. Does it make sense?
That makes perfect sense. There's a level of being able to have discourse. Right. In a way in which we can respect each other, but also be open-minded enough to understand that our perspectives and viewpoints isn't the only one. And I think that comes through experience. We have a certain level of experiences, not just with each other, but with a variety of different people, which has afforded us the opportunity to be able to have an open mind. And I think a lot of brothers, not a lot of brothers, but some brothers don't have that experience, which leads them to just shut shit down when they encounter negativity or constructive criticism. It's like you told me the story about the brother who said, yo, I want to get you a job. Brother said, I want a job. And you say you want to get this driving job or get in this driving class, but you can't have X amount of points on your license. And the dude call you a hater.
Right. And
you like, nah, bro, I'm telling you, just go take this driving class, do what you got to do, here are the steps. But he like, nah, you hating on me.
Right.
Because he hasn't developed the tools to be able to extrapolate the constructive criticism and then go apply that criticism or that feedback, because all the time it's not even criticism, it's just feedback.
Feedback, right.
And apply that feedback to what you need to do in order to be the best you.
I think we're going to wrap it up on that, but we need to talk about having a vision and values for your life and how those things actually serve as a barrier and a boundary to the bullshit. Like if you have a vision and you have some values, when the dumb shit comes, it's a little bit easier to block it out because you're moving in a direction and you have an understanding of where you're going and what you're doing, and you know that you're gonna face opposition. If you're just wandering, oh my God, what's that? That's a hill. I don't know if I can go over it. Oh my God, what's that? It's a river. Can I cross it? Oh my God, what's that? It's wind.
Right.
Like, nah, I'm getting to take a long ass journey and I need to be ready. And I'm going to face some things, some I'm going to be aware of, some I'm not. But I know where I'm going. A lot of times when we wandering, dog, everything's a hurdle. Everything's a mountain. And it's really not. So anyway, we'll get into that another episode.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
My man.
Peaceful Rage Podcast, and Murph gave me the wrap it up sign after he dropped that show. So, yo, be sure to hit us up, man. Hit us up on Instagram at Peaceful Rage Podcast, Twitter at Peaceful Rage Podcast. Yo, we're also looking for a social media intern, all right? You want to rock with us? We have access to a lot of different things. So hit us up on Gmail, man, at peacefulragepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, our social been mad dry, so we got to, you know what I mean?
We busy.
True that. So come on, help us out.
Like, shit, I ain't gonna front, dog. We busy, and I appreciate the ear. You know, everybody always compliments us on this high quality of our sound and whatnot.
Let's just plug for a minute.
Yo,
He be putting in that work.
he does, man. Shout out to Damani4 Press. Follow him on social media on Instagram at DAMANI, the number 4 Press, PREZ. Right? Come shop with him, come work with him. But man, yo, I'm running around, seems like all over the damn country. Murph is damn saving the world, being Black Jesus and a gigolo at the same time. Edit that out.
He trying to get me in trouble.
Right, edit that out. But I'm saying, man, we're busy, so we need a social media intern, man. Help us out. We got to get this out, man. There's been a lot of, we appreciate our loyal listeners.
No doubt.
But damn, man, it's hard. So hit us up. Let us know if you want to rock with us, man. Until next time, fuck white supremacy. Peaceful Rage Podcast.
We out.
So, yo, as always, man, we want to thank the listeners. Appreciate y'all rocking with us.
Absolutely, man.
Shout out to our sponsors.
LifeView Marketing, Ty Cooper.
Shout out to our producer, The Ear. Yo, what up, man? At Damani for Press, hit him up. And also, if you want to be able to sponsor with us, or you want to come through on the show, look out for us. Hit us up on Gmail at peacefulragepodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on social media at Peaceful Rage Podcast on all social media websites. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.